Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlight hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball. Basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins. And Bill Flitter.
Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Youth Hoops. I am your coach, Bill Flitter. Today we have legendary Bay Area coach, Margaret Gartner. How are you, Margaret? And welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill.
So Margaret, Margaret is the varsity coach for Acalanes High School. And if you've been a longtime listener of the show, we had your counterpart, Bill on the Powers on the show from the boys' side. So now we got Acalanes checked off the box. We got the boys and the girls.
Nice.
But I'm going to dive in just because, I could go through your long resume of accomplishments and it's going to come up in the show. And it's actually quite impressive when I saw it all together. It's amazing what you have accomplished. But let's start from the beginning. So you've been coaching for 40 years. How did it all start? You must have started when you were 15, Margaret? 40 years?
Actually, yes. I was coaching when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I was coaching Christ the King track.
Oh, really?
And then when I was in college, I went locally. They needed a coach at Christ the King for basketball because they didn't have a lot of teams before. So I was coaching track. So all of a sudden they were adding girls basketball and they needed a coach. So I literally was playing and going to college and I started coaching CYO. And hence Christ the King. That's why I ended up at Carondelet, because they graduated and I finished my student teaching and I was like, oh, well, I knew I was going to be a teacher all my life and I was enjoying the coaching gig. So
you just kept it up. And you've been a teacher for 33 years. Is that right?
I retired after 32 years in the Mount Ava Unified School District.
Okay.
And now I just tutor.
Okay. Yeah, you just tutor. Okay. Well, let's dive into a little bit of when you first started coaching basketball, those first few seasons. What do they look like then compared to now?
So you're talking about when I was in college and trying to coach?
I'm trying to coach, yeah.
Well, I knew I would be an elementary school teacher, so I knew if I wanted to be able to teach and control a classroom of back then 32, should be able to handle 10 or 12 girls. I remember when they were in second grade, I already had them from sixth grade, seventh grade. I was like, I'm out. They're not listening to me. And the parents begged me to come back. I did. And I just realized that there's more to coaching than the X's and O's and
Yeah.
the games, what parents see. So I knew I had to get better as a coach and a teacher, so I had to stick with it. I couldn't quit.
Couldn't
But
quit coaching or teaching. Is that what you're going in the
not teaching,
combination
I
of
knew
those?
I had that, but coaching
Yeah.
is a little bit different,
Yeah.
a much bigger classroom, fewer people. You think it's easier.
Yeah.
Well, I started when they were in sixth grade, so who's at their best in sixth grade, middle
Right.
school?
Yeah.
So that was a challenge.
Yeah, I
And
would
I
imagine.
wasn't going to do middle school, I was doing elementary, so
Well, even if you take a look at that sixth grade practice compared to, because you still coach or you have recently coached younger teams as well. Now, maybe tell us one of the big lessons you learned from that first sixth grade team to what you're and how things have changed for you when you create and instruct at a practice.
um, probably a couple big things was first, like it's not about how much you can teach them,
Hmm.
it's how much they learn.
Mm.
And so there
Hmm.
needs to be less talking and more doing because
Mm.
girls would want to talk all the time and just chat and they're like, I got it. But they
Yeah.
don't. You have to actually do it. So less talking from my part and let them play a little bit more. Just wanted to control everything and fit in my plan. And I look and say, oh, got to do the next thing. So you do
Mm.
have to be really flexible and have lots of things in your bag. So I learned to put things on the side. If it's not going well, we'll go over to this and just be a little more flexible with that. And then let the girls talk.
Mm.
Like,
So what does that mean?
yeah, because you quickly learn that you're there for basketball, but some of them are there for friends.
Hmm.
So you
Yeah.
got to find a way where there's talking, or you meet early and you have a team meeting, or you chat, because they need to make a connection, and they need to make a connection with you, and they need to know
Hmm.
you care. And once they know you care, then they'll start listening to you.
Yeah.
So I was an outsider coming in. I was like, I know basketball, and this is what we're doing. And they're like, I don't care. Excuse me.
Yeah. You've coached both girls and boys. This is a good segue into asking this question, which is, what's the difference?
Oh, yeah. So after retiring from Carondelet, I had two kids, stepkids, and I was coaching both boys and girls. And this is when I learned the difference.
Hmm.
Um, so girls take things a little more personally. We have a few more emotions. And boys just don't listen and want to do. They think they know
Mm.
everything and they're just going to go out there and they're going to shoot the three, even though they can't make a free throw or a layup. They're just
Yeah.
so you can I'm not saying like be harder on them, but more direct
Mm.
and give
On the boys.
instructions. Yes,
Yeah.
direct instruction. And we are not going to do that. After practice, good, but so and then girls maybe soften it a little bit and maybe a story or a compliment, instruction compliment. So that Oreo, I learned that one pretty early on. Because otherwise they're only going, well, most kids will remember only the negative. So
Mm.
you almost have to give twice as many positives as instruction.
Yeah.
They take it.
And
Some of the instruction is correction, so unfortunately, people take that as a negative, and it
mm,
shouldn't
well,
be. But
explain the Oreo.
um, so if you need to correct something, you got to find something positive before. So let's say there is a turnover. Maybe they dribbled right into a crowd and lost the ball, and the other team scores. So I mean, everybody already saw she turned the ball over, so that's already on her mind. But what they probably didn't see is I loved that you made an athletic decision and you were going for it because maybe I've been telling this person, you got to attack a little bit more. Well, she attacked. It was That's another thing.
Yeah,
Girls like
that's
to do to the T what you say,
yeah, yeah,
and then boys will be like, yeah, eventually I will.
yeah.
Uh, so you have to say, so that was great. You made a decision.
Mm,
So now you gotta have your eyes up and then say, okay, if there's more than one, then there's someone open. And so now you gotta look. I said, and then you sneak in a compliment. But in order for you to make the right decisions, you have to make a lot of mistakes. So I
yeah.
love that mistake, or maybe you went 100%, and that's what I've been asking you to do. So,
What do you think? I mean, this is really getting into the core of our discussion. What is on a coach's job description that most coaches don't realize?
I knew you were going to ask me. Okay, so when you sign up to coach,
You know,
you're a teacher. You got to communicate with patients. You got to listen to your athletes. You need to make time for the parents. You have to remember that, parents also need to trust you since they're entrusting their most precious gift, their
hmm
child, to
Yeah,
you. So from teaching, I knew that like the parents, you got to chat with them. And then I also believe like each child is different. So you cannot just coach the same
mm,
way each child. So I feel like as a teacher, if I taught something and then I give a test and I see games as a test and kids are getting things wrong, I look at myself. Like
mm,
I'm the adult, you
hmm
can't assume they know something. So if we've, if we're getting out rebounded, then I look and say, how much have I focused on rebounding? Did I give any time in practice to rebounding?
mm,
Build it into, say, the defense? No, that's not their fault.
yeah,
So you have to take ownership for the mistakes the kids are making. And I know it's so challenging in CYO because it's what, two practices for an hour. So
right, yeah,
that
yeah,
so if we are getting out rebounded, then I just take a look at my practice, and you can't get mad at a child for doing something that you never put time into working on in practice. So, I mean, you can talk about it, you can drill it, but then there's kids that are gone. So then
right,
it's
right,
game again, we're making the
yeah,
same mistake. And that's where, you know, outsiders don't understand. They're like, just correct it.
yeah,
And I like to say, like, sorry, I know I'm going off. I have a few more points, but
yeah. No, please.
when in our life are we taught something brand new, a skill, and now
Hmm
we're going to test it out in front of everybody you love and your friends with pressure.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
don't do that in our real job. We need
mm,
reps, so we have to take a step back and look like mistakes are part of it. And now I got to help them, and I'm got to make sure I'm doing that part and teach and commit time to it. And you're not going to be able to do everything. So you
hmm
have to make tough decisions and prioritize. And the beauty of like CYO is you kind of like high school, you get them for a group of years. So maybe you don't get something in this year, but if you introduce it, but next year they'll get better at it. So, and that's where I don't know if youth, like parents understand that. Like things don't happen overnight. And just because you're playing on multiple teams. I had one little girl tell me, I want to play on this team and this team. And do you think I should play on this team or with this one? I was like, it was four teams. I said, girl, I love your enthusiasm. So
Yeah,
bam, sneaking in a compliment.
yeah,
Um, and then I said, but games are like tests. Like there's a reason why you go to class and you have
hmm
practice and your teacher teaches, and then you take a test, and then the teacher knows what you need next. I said, if you're playing on, I said, playing on multiple teams is great because you're out getting in uncomfortable, and that's how you grow.
yeah,
And you're going to play different roles, so that's good. But when are you going to take time to study
yeah,
or
yeah.
train or practice? You
And
can't
we
just
play
play
more games
games.
now than we do, right? We take more tests than we do, right? Study and learn, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um,
Can you go? I'm going to jump back
Okay.
though, to something you said, and this comes up a lot, is so I have a team of whatever, 10. Okay. Each child is different. I need to teach them differently, right?
Mhm.
You can group as much as you can, but how do you practically do that?
So you're talking about like skill level? Because
Well,
most of the time I'm talking about
mhm.
how you interact with them.
Hmm.
And then some kids need to see it, and some kids need to like do it, and they're ready to
Hmm.
do it. And some are
Yeah,
so shy and afraid to get on the court to make a mistake. So you have to be, that's one of my points is be creative. How can you teach this child to give it a try and not be uncomfortable? So
yeah,
like small groups as much as you can, and you end up going from one basket to the next, keep checking in on them. You can't stay at a basket.
yeah,
Even if
yeah.
it's just two groups, now there's only five in each group, and that's better for someone so shy that they're afraid to try it. And maybe put them with their friend that's supportive, and and then you can pull them out one on one and just show them the footwork and do it without a ball.
Mm, hmm.
But just because you say, okay, this is how we box out and you drill it, like sometimes you got to break it down. Maybe someone's never seen a box out or they don't want to touch anyone,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So
Yeah,
then you have to get a
absolutely.
pad out and
Yeah,
it's better to hit a pad
yeah,
before a
yeah,
person.
yeah.
So whatever it takes for that person to learn how to rebound and be physical, it's up to a coach. You can't just say, I can't teach it. I'm like, well, if they're coachable and they try, then they can learn,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
for sure.
and you can't compare, and that's where I think everybody gets in
Mm,
trouble. They're like,
yeah.
my child's not taking as many shots as that child,
Mm,
or they're putting the pressure on their child, but it's so bad to compare because everybody's on their journey and at a different point.
yeah.
So if you're comparing, you've already like maybe their journey is a year apart. There's a big difference.
Hmm.
So they're gonna quit because they're comparing themselves up
Right.
to
Yeah.
someone else. So I once heard when you want to compare like your growth, don't look compare to where you are now to where you want to be. What you have to do is stop and turn around and look at how far you've come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you feel better about your growth and then just make little steps. Anyway, but comparing like is really bad for kids. I mean, what I used to tell the parents is like everyone's going to lose their teeth when they're 6 years old. Oh no, could be 5 to 8 years old. Everyone's going to lose their teeth. They're all going to
Yeah.
lose their teeth, but they're not all losing it at the same time. God,
Mm, yeah.
and
Right.
someone might
Yeah.
start losing his first tooth in third grade, and I had that. And someone's lost all their teeth by the end of first grade. So it's like developmentally, like not everybody's going to learn at the same pace. So,
Yeah. Well, I had this discussion, similar discussion last night with a young coach, and he was just getting he's getting a little stressed that his players weren't picking up some very basic concepts. And I had sat and explained to him that, well, again, there's you have the cognitive skills and where they're at and where their brain development is in that, right? And then, the physical ability to do things. And some people are there. I mean, all kids are different on that journey. Same analogy you use, but you can't just look at all fifth graders and say, well, they should be here now, right? Because they're a fifth grader. And there is going to be a huge discrepancy, right, between player number, let's say number one, and player number 15, although they're fifth grade, right? So you
right.
just got to, you know, and well, I'm going to ask it as a
Well,
question.
I
Yeah, go
was going to
ahead.
just make a comparison in school. That's the classroom.
Right, it's the classroom.
So
Yeah.
that's where I was used to like some are reading coming
Hmm.
to first grade. Some don't know their letters,
Mm, yeah. Right.
but
Yeah.
it's our responsibility to teach them. So you got to meet them where they're at,
Hmm.
you
Well,
know.
what do you do with those kids then? Great example is, you know, they're entering a classroom. You got kids that can read and
Hmm.
are are reading a book a week, and the other ones, like you said, don't know the alphabet yet, but they're in the same classroom. Same thing that happens in the basketball practice.
Right.
So how do you keep the kids engaged who know how to read, and the other kids, you have to keep them learning and not being disappointed because they're looking at that kid that's in there, your friend that's reading a book already.
Right. So that's where I think your environment or culture, that popular word culture
Mm,
is,
hmm.
that we're all different. And so that's where the beauty of high school, when you have all this time, you can build the culture and then we accept, and everybody's on their own journey, but you're part of the team. We're all together, and we always talk about the shot she just took is our shot. That's
Mm,
not her shot. She took it for all of us.
mm, hmm.
Um, but yes, so that's where how you treat them as a coach,
Yeah,
they got to feel just as valued as the one that is further along.
right. Yeah, for sure.
So that's the hard part. I mean, because it's so easy to say, oh, just go. If we're
Right.
so worried about winning, it is hard. So if at the high school level, when there is a lot of that, you have to make sure you talk to them after or talk to them at the next practice and make sure they know they're valued.
Mm, hmm.
Um, and then, I
What about
mean,
teaching the skills though? I mean, again, maybe going back to what you said before, which is, you have,
group.
yeah, groups, right? And match them up
So
by ability.
I do that. I
Hmm.
also, you can make a list of things they're going to do at this basket. For instance, like all the different layups. Like I
Hmm.
need you to do four of each, two on each side, and there you go. And it teaches them to be responsible for their own growth and
Hmm. Hmm.
reps. And then I can spend a little more time, and we're doing a few less of the layups, like just a regular layup, or
Yeah,
a floater, but while the other girls are working on a list that they gotta make them. So it's almost like there has to be either some kind of I'm trying to think of the word. Well, they have to be responsible for completing in a certain amount of time, or a score, make it competitive or not, but they have to finish it and they have this much time while you're spending time. Yeah. But you do have to
right.
do some grouping and matchups. And when we play 5-on-5, try to
Do you mix
it's
the teams
but
up then?
they guard each other, make even teams.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then occasionally, like right before a game, I might put them together. Um, but then I always say, you always think if you always keep your starters together in practice, it's like in college. Someone's getting in foul trouble. Someone else is not
Right.
going to play
Yeah,
with them. So,
exactly.
so it's
Yeah,
not a bad thing to mix up.
right. It, t so again, teacher for 32 years, basketball coach for 40 years. What did teaching teach you about coaching basketball? And how do you translate some of the things you learned in the classroom to the court?
Okay, so I knew that all kids are different and they
Hmm.
learn differently. It's audio, visual, and
Mm.
kinesthetic. So some
Yeah.
need to do. So I knew all of that. I also knew like teaching you had to talk to parents, and that was always the hardest thing when you're like 20 something to talk to parents.
Hmm.
You don't have kids.
Yeah.
Um, but talking to the parents, I mean, even if they don't know anything about basketball, a parent is an expert with their own child. So just making time for them to talk to you allows them to feel better about you working with their child. Um, be creative. So you got to change on the fly. Like at school, the bell rings and then you got to stop everything and then you have to come back and finish, or some emergency happens. And so you have to have something ready. Okay, we're making our 25 threes right now. So, so I can talk to the AD who just walked in. So you do have to have like, oh, here's a good lesson. Like every drill you have, you got to have
Hmm.
a name for it
Hmm.
and use it. So then when you're in a hurry or something, you're like, it's 2 minutes of threes. They know what that is,
Yeah.
or a stranger would. So You got to be creative. Oh, I mean, we're role models, so I feel like everything we're asking this child to do, we should be modeling that as well. So hence the reason why I try not to argue with refs. I don't get technical. Because
When's the last time you got a
I'm doing,
technical?
huh?
When's the last time you got a technical? You're always pretty calm on the sideline, so it
I got
probably
it.
was one of your assistant coaches before you,
Yeah. Yes. No,
or
I think I
some
got
other thing happened, right? The
it was
parent
someone
or
wasn't in the books. That was my technical. It was a
oh,
different uniform. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, let's see.
Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Gatorade Zero powders have been scientifically designed to help improve hydration balance in the body. With a clinically proven electrolyte blend and no artificial colors or flavors, great tasting hydration no matter where you're going. Shop now online or at retailers nationwide. Gatorade hydrates better than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
The new LinkedIn hiring pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
I knew like when you're a teacher, you are teaching subjects, but you're also teaching them how to be a human being and
Yeah.
how to live life as an adult. So responsibilities. So I feel like basketball, you're teaching them basketball, but you're also the skills that you learn in basketball are so helpful in life,
Yeah.
especially a team sport, because how many jobs now you're working with a group of people.
That's right.
So, and then you're not always going to have the role you want, and that happens in jobs too. So, we always talk about, well, here's some things to work on, and please prove me wrong. Let me, So, so I knew like basketball was just a way of teaching them also about life. And not everyone's going to go off and play in college, and not everybody, when I was teaching them to read, was going to even finish high school. I was teaching in a poor area, so I just wanted them to be able to read so they can find a job that they could survive, do some regular math, and run a business.
And I want to ask you a question here too, because you've mentioned it a few times. You have 600 wins. You've been coaching for 40 years.
Yeah.
And one thing has always been constant in that time, are parents. And some, there's always, we'll talk about how do you deal with parents, just put it that way. There's always a variety of different parent types on every team. And, over that period of time, you probably could put them into segments. But how do you deal with that parent that, daughter's not getting enough playing time, they're not shooting enough, they're yelling out to their kid on the floor about what they should be doing, right? How do you deal with the difficult parents? And every coach wants to know that because it happens to every team.
All right.
What's your
The
feedback?
first thing is, I always know that it is not personal. Because you can put any coach in my place, and they would make a similar decision or a different. And if it's not my decision, it would be someone else, and another parent would be. So if it's not personal, it's not about you, it's about their child and what they believe with their child.
Yeah.
Then you can stay more calm, and you just listen to them. That's the biggest thing. Listen. Doesn't mean that you agree with them.
Right.
But there's, I don't know, I hate to say too much, but there's always a time where, if there's a problem with basketball, there's probably a problem in the classroom, you know what I mean? And it's just sometimes you're just the easiest target to talk to,
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
um, and just know you're not going to make everyone happy, but you can care about them and you can listen to them and you can let them know that you're doing what you feel is best for the team. And I am trying to keep, your child's best interest as much as I can, treating her like a human. So I think if you can remember that, then those difficult conversations you're like, okay, because they're in a bad spot. I mean, really,
Right.
sports can
Yeah.
bring out the worst in
That's
people.
right. Yeah.
So you're seeing their worst.
Hmm.
You don't know what's going on in their personal life, and this is something they can actually complain about. So,
Well, if you think about it too, you're a coach. If you when you're because this is a great analogy for you, right? So you have the classroom, you have that same child in the classroom, no parents. Now you move to an huge open room, parents in the stands, still teaching that child. But because I wonder if that same parent, and I'm guessing the answer would be yes, and we don't know for sure. Take that same parent, put him in the classroom in the stands watching you teach, right?
mhm.
I'm sure they're going to be
Yeah,
yelling at you or telling their daughter to do something, while she's sitting down in her seat,
and I
right?
mean, and I just turn it around and I say, so you don't have a bunch of people going and watching you do your job and then complaining about.
Right. Yeah.
So it is a very public thing.
It's a very public
You
thing.
ought,
That's
you
right. Yeah.
just can't listen to the
Hmm.
negatives,
Hmm.
because it's always out there. You can be
Yeah.
not flawless. You can be perfect, do everything right, and you're going to have haters.
Yeah. That's right.
So especially well, now it's starting to be in the lower grades in AAU. But no, as long as you're not listening to that and you are doing the best you can, and like I said, we're role models, so we got to make sure we're doing our homework, that we're
Yeah.
working hard.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I
That's
still
right.
sweep the
Good point.
floors and pump the
Yeah.
balls up, and people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you shouldn't be doing that." I'm like, "Why not?"
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm asking the girls to do, like, so
Yeah.
no, we're all in this. So as long as I feel good about my decisions, it's not like I'm always growing as a coach
Mm.
and talking to other coaches and always online watching games. So it's not like I'm stuck in a way and I'm only doing it one way. I feel like I'm growing as a coach too. And because I feel like once you feel like you've arrived, people are passing you and the game.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I tell the girls. As long as you think you're the best, well, you're not
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah. Number six
That's-
wants your
yeah.
job, right? That's
So
the
as
number
long
six
as you
player.
know that
So
I'm doing the work. I'm growing. I feel like I'm making good decisions. And if I don't, I'll admit,
yeah.
because that's what we ask the girls to. Oop, I should have made that pass.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
There's times where you overcoach. It's like, probably shouldn't have done that zone from the out of bounds because they just scored a three.
My
So,
biggest thing when
yeah.
I was coaching, I always remember this. It's like, I'm okay. I know I need to call a timeout, and at that, like this happens. It happened a couple times, but it's like, oh, I wish I get that back. Which is, I'm about to call a timeout, and then there's a breakaway that's happening at the same time I'm calling that timeout, and of course, at that moment, the ref is,
They
here's
actually
me,
hear
and then
you, right? Yeah.
right, yeah, and then stop the game, and here we could have scored a couple points, and I'm like, oh,
Also,
dang
we're
it.
human.
Anyway, we're human. I
So
know,
we're
and that's
human.
part of the
And now
game.
we have
So,
other humans judging us. So,
yeah. How do you think over the course of, again, the longevity of your career, eh, have kids changed? So if you think back,
mm,
so do you see a change in the?
I do. I
Uh,
see. I see changes in two directions. I
okay. Yeah.
see kids that are getting trained, especially during COVID. They had all this time, and kids
Hmm.
used the time wisely. And then other kids chose different things to do. And then now we're back at playing basketball, and everything's back to quote normal, if anything
Yeah.
is normal. And there's discrepancies. So I do think today's game, It's, well, not game, but our youth don't always know what hard work is.
Mm,
Like I
yeah.
remember
Yeah.
your grandma would say, I walked 4 miles to
Right.
run in the
Yeah.
snow to school just for, but, I thought I had it hard. But now, once I hear my grandma story, it's like, okay, we don't have it hard. And now the kids are like, oh my gosh, I have to
Right.
like do school on a computer. It's like, yeah, sit in your bed and do this.
Yeah.
So I do think like sports is one area where like you actually have to get out and do it yourself. Parents can't buy it.
Hmm.
I know they try, but they actually have to be the ones
Yeah.
committed. So that's why I said take ownership of, your skills, take ownership. So I do think there's a discrepancy, and that's where I'm trying to help the girls that are behind. And, it's not that their journey started later, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's our job, and I'm seeing more of that, especially in a public school, in a smaller public school.
Yeah.
So definitely brings you back to your CYO days. It's like, okay, I know how to break this one down,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
actually think I became a better coach the second time I went back to CYO.
Mm,
Because I was like, ah, okay,
yeah.
I actually have to teach how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Well,
I
just
think,
talking
yeah,
with younger, oh, go ahead.
no, just so the effort. So I think sports is such a good lesson, and the parents can't do it. They have to do it, and the commitment. So I think sports might, quite frankly, teach them more life skills than some of the classroom,
Mm,
things learning in
yeah.
the classroom, especially with AI and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just the
Yeah,
soft
and
skills,
again,
right?
there is that correlation between sports and life, and if you think about why sports was part of the school experience, because it is an extension of the classroom, and they are supposed to learn and get exercise. And
Hmm.
if we, when I, my big, you mentioned that going back to CYO and made you a better coach. My mind shift from what I do, which was I thought I coach, I don't, I teach. That was the first one. The second one was I don't coach basketball, I coach confidence. And when I switched that in my head, that just I was a better coach. And I got to the point where I was like, oh, I want to text those first group of high school kids and it's like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have to say, and I look back and I'm like, okay, I didn't do them that badly because we still talk. You know what I mean? And that's the
Right.
beauty about
Right.
what we do is, if we can positively impact someone's life, I mean, that's why we coach, right? I mean, that's what we should be
Yeah.
coaching.
When they
You
ask,
know?
why do you keep doing it with all the like
Yeah.
negatives? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I feel like I am helping our youth and our
Yeah.
future.
Hmm.
So, and it's not just basketball, but some of them are using it to get education. And
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
so it's whatever they need, but I feel like I'm helping the youth. So I don't know. I was always a teacher. I knew I was going to be a teacher in kindergarten. So
That's
I started
crazy.
teaching when, yeah.
You probably had that right in you. Your parents probably even said that about you.
Oh,
Right? Yeah.
yeah. My mom would say, stop playing school because I would.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
okay, so
you
you
made
have
a point. You
oh
made a
yeah.
point about confidence, and I think
Yeah.
that's a big thing, and that's where
Mhm.
mistakes need to be made without judgment. And
Yeah.
we are going to
Hmm.
throw them in the game, and there's all kinds of judgment. So as a coach, we have to ask the girls to not listen to the noise. The parents are noise. We ask
Uh,
you to give it a try. You made a mistake. We'll get back in the classroom and work on it, but I just applaud them for making a mistake.
yes.
That means you went
Amen.
outside
Yep.
your comfort
That's
zone
right.
and
Yeah.
you're trying to do something
Yep.
that you're working on,
Hmm.
and so you were talking about just because they know something here doesn't mean they're actually going to do it in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many steps that you have to do, like breaking it down, including like I'm the defense and you read what I do and I barely move. Like this step,
Right,
you know?
right.
And
Yes.
then you got dumb, then you
Yeah.
control it and you tell the
Yeah.
defense you can only do this or this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like here it is. Okay, add defense, let's go.
Yeah.
But, with the time constraint CYO, it is tempting.
It's tempting. Yeah.
But that's why you got to look long term.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I always, I don't say if you make a mistake. I said when you make a
Hmm.
mistake. And I just like, it's natural. It's just like breathing. And I always say, if you don't make a mistake, I'm not doing my job. Right. I'm
Right.
not doing my job. I'm not pushing you hard enough, or, we're not learning new things, right, quick enough. But so, okay. So, you have an impressive winning record overall, right? 19th winningest coach in the state of California, 637 wins and 160 losses. That's amazing. Congrats. That is an amazing accomplishment. Is there, and you look back at all those wins, successes, league championships, high school, CYO, is there a moment that just sticks out with you that changed you, or maybe a championship that carries a little bit more meaning than the rest?
Mm.
Got you thinking, Margaret.
Yeah, no, I know
Because there's so many,
why.
and yeah.
Um, I would say when I stepped down from Carondelet and started coaching my own stepkids,
Okay.
because that's when I learned like confidence with my daughter would
Mm,
be like this and this and that. And my son didn't want to shoot. And I was like, because they just wanted to be so perfect for me, for the coach,
mm,
and not make a mistake because they don't. And I realized that it is coaching confidence, and I am coaching people's babies.
yeah.
So I had learned a little bit of that at Carondelet, but I never had my own kids. So when I had stepkids, then when you see them at home, and then I was like, wow, when I go back to high school, I'm going to be a better coach
Yeah.
and a better
Interesting.
role model. And so I'd have to say it was just all those little experiences where you're like, they just want to have fun and they're with their friends.
Yeah.
Parents that are like projecting some of their, I'm like, no, it's their experience. So I would have to say when I went back to little kids,
Yeah. Interesting.
um,
What do you think changed specifically about coaching your stepkids, um, that you didn't learn? What was the learning
well,
experience that?
I think you forget when you're doing high school. I think you
Mm,
forget. You look at them and you're trying to teach them to be adults, but
hmm
you forget how like just a year before they were riding a bike or,
mm,
so
hmm
there's
Yeah.
huge jumps in expectations in high school.
Yeah.
So I think just remembering that and giving them some grace and communicating with them, maybe more compliments. I think um, that's what makes maybe I have more of a more I don't know. I've I'm more compassionate about their feelings,
Okay. Yeah.
especially after COVID
Mm,
and the mental health that because I
yeah.
got to see what that was like at home with high school kids doing school online and missing graduation and
hmm
missing dances, and now we're back, and even the social skills, all the soft skills
Right.
that you need for a job are so.
You didn't realize how important a role school plays and everything in the social aspect of our lives and play in our development until it was completely taken away from you. And you can see it in the kids.
That's,
Yeah, so it's unbelievable, right? How that can change.
and
Do you remember? Oh
I
yeah,
do wish I could go back with some of my Crondelet years too and go, oh,
yeah,
I could
I
have handled
know.
this better. But I mean, what
It's
I
all a
tell
learning
people, we
experience.
were all beginners at some point.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
you aren't who you are until you start and you make those mistakes.
yeah.
So you don't just come out and are a great coach, you're going to make mistakes just like the players are. So,
Yeah. I think I was a better coach when I first started from the X and O's perspective because I never coached before. Start to think about it and correct. And anyway, I laugh about that sometimes.
oh,
But is
and
there a player? Oh, yeah, go ahead,
I
Margaret.
was going to say, I
Yeah.
quickly learned in CYO, like the X's and O's don't matter. If
Yeah.
they can't dribble, they can't pass, or they can't make a layup,
Yeah.
you can get the shot you want, but it's not going in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's if you can get it there. So I was
Yeah.
like, wow. So then I knew with the CYO team, I'm like, their skills, I don't care about winning and losing in CYO. They're going to be ready for high school. They're going to make a left-hand layup. They're going to have, like, I had goals for them that they would be able to do. So when they got to high school, I kind of wished all CYO coaches would, you
Yeah.
know,
Focus on the skills as
who
they
was
should.
remembering those games?
Yeah.
Certainly not me, and I was a high school coach. Like,
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that's why we have this podcast, right? To educate the youth coaches, and even our high school listeners, right, on well, how they should approach the game, the difference between the X's and O's and everything else, right, and how to go about it so they don't make the same mistakes we've done. But I want to ask you this, which is, if you think back again, is there um, a player that taught you something that you use today, or a moment that happened in a game by a player?
um, oh gosh. Um, do I have to say names?
No, you don't have to say the names, but what's the moment?
Um,
Mm,
no, so there was someone on my team last year.
mm,
I'll say her name Ari because it was great.
mm,
So Ari just battled, and
mm,
I she would say, "Oh, don't worry, we'll figure it out." She reminded me that we'll just play basketball. Like, you don't have to have a play. We got this. We'll try to
mm.
run it and then we'll just make a play. I was like, yeah, you're right. I did something right. They
Yeah,
told me I got this, coach. Like, they were like, we got this.
yeah.
And I knew it wasn't all on me.
Mm.
I had done something right with this group where they were like, we'll take care of it. We'll do it. And then I felt really proud about that. And it
Yeah.
wasn't the wins or losses, and we probably won that game, but still, it
You
was,
only lost one game in season in the
yeah, but
league. Yeah.
those open division,
There's other ones, but yeah.
those are all tough. But just that she had the confidence, and she's like, we're gonna make plays, so we're
Yeah.
good. And then no, I'm trying to remember at some point I started giving permission for the players to start calling the defenses too.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
good. Well, yeah,
So
and
like
you
in
got to have
that
the right players, which you did, right, for four
But like
years
I did that
or
when I was at
longer. So
Crondelet too, but
yeah, well, yeah,
sometimes giving responsibility to the players, they
yeah,
respond better and
absolutely.
communicate and make sure
Hmm.
everybody's doing the right defense because they called it.
Yep. Yeah.
So I also there was a tough one.
Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Gatorade Zero powders have been scientifically designed to help improve hydration balance in the body. With a clinically proven electrolyte blend and no artificial colors or flavors. Great tasting hydration no matter where you're going. Shop now online or at retailers nationwide. Gatorade hydrates better than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
The new LinkedIn hiring pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
I 1 year gave a captain role to someone that was challenging for me and not always the best role model.
Mm.
Because in the classroom, sometimes when you have a troubled student, when they have responsibility, they take that seriously because nobody else,
Yeah.
it was the best thing I ever did. I mean, it took her a minute, a lot of coaching during the year to help her out. But come playoffs, she ended up being NCS Player of the Year.
Mm.
And
Wow.
she wasn't even MVP of the league. She might have been first team in the league back when we
Yeah.
were with Deer Valley and all that. But so,
So
some,
empowering
yes,
her with that responsibility.
but
Hmm.
there was some training and a contract, like literally
Mm.
a behavior
Yeah.
contract. And that was from my teaching days. We got to get I wouldn't say that for everyone, but that that was a good reminder that sometimes more responsibility is good, even though
Yeah.
it's hard to give up control.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Okay, couple more of a some rapid fire questions to kind of end this. So, uh,
Okay.
okay, get yourself ready.
Hopefully, I
Uh,
have rapid
yeah,
answers.
yeah, I know. We want rapid answers here, Mark. Rapid answers. Okay. I'll give you 30 seconds for each question, each answer. Timeout, right? Okay. Now, what do you tell coaches who they think the role is X's and O's? That they teach the X's and O's, right? That's what they're supposed to do. What would you tell them?
That's about a fourth of the responsibility,
Fourth of the
if
responsibility.
that. If
Yeah. If you had to write one line at the top, this is a good one. If you had to write one line at the top of every youth coach's clipboard, what would it say as a
um,
reminder?
you are coaching someone's baby. If
I
they have
like
a
that one.
child,
Yeah.
like how would you want someone to coach your daughter? So that's
Hmm.
always how I thought I was coaching. That was how I taught too. And then when I got one, I was like, oh, I need to do better. So you're
What
coaching someone.
mistakes do you see newer coaches make that you wish someone had warned them about?
Oh, don't look at NBA coaches and try
Mm,
to coach youth like that.
yeah.
And our society has changed, and old school yelling and threatening or yanking for mistakes are
Oh,
ruining
yeah.
their confidence and their
Yeah.
growth. So it's not
And
the
if
same.
looking back on the younger Margaret, what advice would you give her on her journey? What would
Uh,
you say to her? What would you say to the young Margaret today?
well, before taking that first coaching job, I should have gone to a coach's clinic or go watch a practice because it wasn't the same as a classroom.
Mm,
Um, I wish someone had told me middle school is tough to to coach and
mm,
um, don't make time for them or something fun in practice.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Something fun needs to happen, especially in the youth. So even in
yeah,
high school, we do
yeah,
something
even in high
fun.
school.
Hmm.
What do you hope your players carry with them 10, 20, 30 years from now as they leave your teams?
I hope that they know what hard work is and they are strong women in difficult situations handling
Mm,
that. Um,
mhm.
that they know that they can, if they put in work, they can reach their goals. And for the most part, we've seen that, but that they're strong women and you're responsible for yourself. So, and your growth.
And the last question here is, what do you say to that parent who is deciding to coach their kid's CYO team? What do you, they're listening to this right now. You're speaking directly to them, and they're making that decision if they should or shouldn't coach their CYO team.
Well, I know CYO is desperate for coaches and that they have to if there's going to be a team or a coach.
Mhm.
Um, but I would say if they're listening to a podcast, that's a great step because there wasn't
Yeah.
that when I started. So talk to other coaches. I would say make sure when you get in the car, you are parent. You are not coach to your
Mm,
child. No more talking about basketball.
Yeah.
They don't need to have the extra information that the kids don't, unless they're coming to you. Or
Unless
you,
they ask the question, right?
yes, you
Yeah.
say, can I be coach right now? Not just mom. And they're
Yeah.
like, okay. Then they're open. But then cut it short, because after like 2 minutes, they'll be like, that was way more than I wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Can
just
we, yeah.
separate it. Don't try to like be coach at home too. It's too hard.
Yeah, which is a hard separation
Yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, you have to turn it off. Any final words you want to add?
No, I think coaching is so impactful, and I applaud anyone that chooses to go into it because it's a huge responsibility. And it's not about basketball or the sport they're doing, it's about the youth.
Yeah,
We need more adult role models for kids,
for
good
sure.
role models. And I think if they're thinking about coaching, for the most part, they're probably care about students and kids. So
Yeah.
that's a great step. Now just keep educating yourself because kids are changing and everything's changing. So
Games changing, kids are changing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, well, Margaret, I really appreciate you being on the show today. And, again, I can't say enough about your success. I think you're a great role model for your players over the course of the year. I am sure you've made a huge impact on them. I know you made a huge impact in the game of basketball in the Bay Area. So, hopefully we'll still see you for the next 20 years coaching
You
at
good
all
now.
levels. So yeah, there we go. Right. All right, Margaret, thank you so much.
Thank you
And
for the invitation.
yeah,
I like what you're
and
doing for the game and
I appreciate that.
for people and for kids. So
Well, thank you. And coaches, go check out Coaching Youth Hoops for more coaching resources. Until next time.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Labor Day sale and get 35% off paints and stains August 28th through September 9th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.